Hi guys, I am in Hanoi now, the capital of Vietnam. Hanoi has been the capital of Vietnam for around 1,000 years, with a few exceptions when Ninh Binh was the capital and also Hoi An was the capital. That's exception of altogether 200 years. I am here in the old quarters, which is the oldest part of Hanoi. And the interesting thing about this town is that there's 36 streets, about this part of the town, 36 streets that are named after the items that those streets are producing or selling. So here, for example, behind me, there's lots of shoes. So there is a street called Shoe Street. There is a street called Sugar Street. There is a street called Steel Street where they sell the iron stuff. There is a Salt Street. There is a Scale Street. There is a Chopped Fish Street. There is a Chicken Fish. There is a Chopstick Street. There is a Bamboo Street as well. And this part is super busy. And you can find lots of cafes, you can find lots of street food, lots of restaurants around here. But the most interesting thing is how this how this city actually transforms in the night. And look at the pictures. I will put, for example, one example of Beer Street. There is also a Beer Street, which is a party street during the day and during the night. Is absolutely amazing how it transforms. But a little bit more about Vietnam. Vietnam is a still communist country actually. There is a one party only, which is a communist party. Look here behind me, there are nice tricycles. And that party is the only ruling party. There is no opposition in this country. And from what my tour guide said, if you actually make any public comments about the party that is ruling the country, you will be taken to the police station or even put in jail, which is quite a severe thing. So basically there is no speech of freedom here. People are super rigid and stiff, like they really find it hard to be relaxed and accommodating. They are super honest, but they really cannot do things out of the box. They cannot do things differently than the rules say, even if it's super possible, like for example, get a room that is already ready for you, I don't know, 1 hour earlier or something like that, or get 2 more tissue papers for the toilet. I was queuing to the toilet one day and asked for a little bit more of tissue paper. I was told no, that the rule is 3. So I had to manage, and so on and so on. If you want to use a toilet during the bus trip, forget it. There are certain breaks. If you really need to pee, that's your problem. Everything is run here by rules. And what else? The country has been invaded by French for a very long time, for around 100 years, from 18th century. And then has been obviously invaded by Americans. There was a big war. This is the Beer Street that I'm going to show you in a minute, and explain a little bit more about the American war. This is the Beer Street. You will see later on my Instagram or Facebook how the street looks like in the night. Basically, I was out there yesterday dancing, full of music, full of clubs. But the interesting thing is that after 12 there is no business allowed, and every time the police coming, the shutters were going down in our pub, and we had to sit in a total silence until the police passed, like in the shelters, basically. Why did Americans had a war with Vietnamese? Basically, in the south of Vietnam, in 20th century, 60s, in 60s, there has been formed a new party That was the opposition party to the Communist Party, and it was supported by Americans. Therefore, the Communist Party on the north started fighting with the Communist Party in the south, and it started being supported more and more with the American troops, and that's how the war has started. There were lots of severe consequences. Lots of American soldiers, well, pilots were put into jail. Lots of Vietnamese underground activists were put in jail, and lots of people were basically killed. The next war that they had that only lasted 2 months was actually with China, and that wasn't really long time ago. I think it was around in 80s or almost 90s, when Vietnam was supporting Cambodia with the invasion, and Chinese obviously were not happy with this. Anyway, this is what I have learned about Vietnam so far. You can see those vibrant streets. There is lots of people carrying scales. There's also a scale street carrying scales, selling fish, clothes, street food, chopsticks, anything really, name it. And now I am going to go to the cafe and enjoy the egg coffee, which is excellent. Bye!